What's up? What's up, guys? This is JC, and welcome to the Wealth Engineering Podcast. So, I created this channel to help educate you, to motivate you as well into building your wealth, retire early, and enjoying that lifestyle, freedom lifestyle. So, it is imperative to learn how to manage your money because once you learn how to manage your money, you can take control over true wealth, which is your time and your freedom. So, if this is something that interests you, I want you to smash the like button, subscribe, and click the bell. So I see we have some people earlier. Shout out to Aaron B. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your support. He has his popcorn ready. Aaron B. again, a great supporter. Thank you. Again, if you have any questions tonight when it comes to the chat, or if you want to say anything, I like seeing the chat. I like interacting with people in the chat. That's one of the reasons why I transitioned from making short videos into streaming. So again, if this is something that you want to just say something and we'll interact with each other. Actually, if you guys can hear me very well, let me know with a one in the chat. That would help. And let's go with that. So I'm assuming everything's good, unless you guys let me know otherwise. So tonight you've seen the title, seen what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about coaches and mentors. So, is it important to seek a mentor? Like, what do you think? If you had to guess, is a mentor important or not? And thank you, Cashflow Hunter. There you go. Again, I love this guy's name, man. Cashflow Hunter. This is, if I had to summarize what the wealth engineering philosophy is, this is it right here. Cashflow Hunter. You go hunt for investment that go generate cash flow for you, and you're living off that cash flow. So I love your name, and thank you for your support. Thank you for dropping number one. And again, guys, the goal is here, and the goal for this podcast today is to talk about coaches, mentors, what we can learn from them, and go from there. Now, as I was saying, like, should you seek the service of a mentor? Is this something that you think you should do? uh, a mentor that can guide you in your financial journey, all right? Because there is many, you can have a mentor for anything, but now for the purpose of this channel, we're talking about growing your wealth, retire early, build that financial freedom, financial independence. So should you seek the service of a mentor that can guide you to achieve your goals? Should you reach the service of a coach that can give you step by step instructions on how to achieve your goals? Can a mentor or financial coach really help you reach your financial goals? So we're gonna discuss about all that tonight, and again, I'm excited about it. And my inspiration myself is to be a mentor. So we're going to talk about it. What is the difference between a coach and a mentor, and how to find mentors as well? How to find mentors? I'll show you. I'll share with you my experience with both coaches and mentors when it comes to business investing. So a lot of knowledge will be dropped tonight. I'm excited about it, and I think it's a very important topic to talk about. So cash flow. What do you mean you guess? Of course, man. Cash flow value, cash flow hunter. That's the type of investment you gotta sue, because it's the best type of investment. Because I'm a lazy guy, I like to sit back, relax, enjoy the fun. And if you have investments that can generate cash flow for you, it's operating well, then yeah, it's definitely the type of investment you want to make. It puts money in your pocket today. But anyway, so now, let's start first by defining who is a financial mentor. Like, a financial mentor is someone who has already achieved what you're trying to achieve. Now, this is very important to keep in mind because many people try to find mentors and they get like sucked into either scams or charlatans. But a great definition for a mentor is definitely someone who has achieved what you have already, what you are trying to achieve, because this person has gone through the entire process from the beginning to the end, so they can guide you along the way. They can see the bigger picture, and they can address you. And not only that, you also have there's many people who can be in this realm from beginning to end of what you're trying to achieve, but also, are they willing to spend their time to teach you? Are they willing to spend their energy to teach you? So again, that's also an important part, because you can find someone who's done the process, but they're not willing to spend the time with you, right? Um, the difference, if we had to define financial coach is someone who is trying to accomplish what you is someone who's accomplishing what you're trying to accomplish, but they're further than you. So if you're just starting and this person, let's say they're 3, 4, 5 years in, then they can coach you on how to start, right? They can coach you on things that they have done. They can guide you along the way. So someone who is trying to get to that to that goal, to that end goal, just like you, but is much further than you, can coach you. But is that person a mentor? No. Why? Because they have not accomplished what you are trying to accomplish. They're still on the way. So, for example, if we would use me as an example. Um, Me, I wouldn't be a mentor when it comes to retirement. Why? Because I'm not retired yet, and I don't. My portfolio right now, I cannot leave on my portfolio right now to for retirement. Therefore, I cannot be a mentor for retirement. But can I be a coach for retirement? Absolutely. Why? Because I have started the process. I have done many mistakes before I start. And when I try to start, I did many mistakes. So I can definitely tell you what not to do. That I'm good at, because I've done almost all the mistakes you can think of when it comes to financial habits. And even when you start, even when I was doing a lot of mistakes before I started my financial journey, and even when I started my financial journey, I did a lot more mistakes. So a lot of costly mistakes, and that's the problem with financial advice and financial consulting. And when you're doing anything in a financial realm, it costs money and it costs time. And if you fail, then that's a lot. That's money you're losing on the table. So it's money that you could have invested, or you could have done something else with it. So R&B, yes, you need a mentor. Absolutely, I agree with you. Shout out to you, sir. Thank you for your support. Um, and so, yes, I can be a coach. I can coach you on how to start. And that can be a significant improvement in your journey. It can help you save time, it can help you save trouble. Um, and yes, absolutely, there is a difference between coach, mentors, and role models. Absolutely. That's a great point. Role models are not necessarily mentors, but they serve a purpose. They serve a purpose, they can inspire you. And that is a very important step. Um, they may not be able to, maybe it's a role model that you never met. Maybe it's someone that you watch on TV, on YouTube, or any like online. But the fact that they inspire you, it's kind of like a spark. Think of it as you're trying to put this fire here, but before you have the fire, you need the spark. So the role model is there to serve as the spark for your fire. And that is a very important step, because without the spark, there is no fire. So there is a difference between them, and they all serves a great purpose, and they all can be beneficial to you. I think everyone start first by having a role model, especially when you're in your teenager age. You start looking how the world works, understanding. A lot of people go with sports. I One of my role models used to be Michael Jordan for a very long time. I even used my change my initial to MJ, because my last name is with an M. My first name is with a J, so I kind of move it. It's supposed to be JM, but I said, hey, MJ. But yes, but role model for what? Role model for working hard. Role model for be the best that you can be. And yes, Michael Jordan, and again, business life. That's a lot of inspired to be better. Take your investments and multiply it even more. That's an inspiration right there. Be a role model in the Black community, to aspire to be a star, to be someone respected around the world, right? Without having to swear and rap music. He's a businessman. He's not just an athlete. He's an influential. He's an influential person in society, and he has a presence worldwide. Like worldwide, wherever he shows up, he's there, and that's a role model. And he was the spark for many people. So great point, Aaron. B. Great point. So mentors. So we talk about coaches. We talk about mentors. As I said, me right now, I'm actually Wealth Engineering is a company that I started as well, and yes, I coach people on how to start. With the first thing they do, how to learn things that they should know before they start. That's what I do. But can I call myself a mentor? No, I can't. That would be not in good faith. I can tell you this much though. I aspire to be a mentor. I want to be a mentor. I want to I want to have that status, and again, the only way you get it, the official way, is you have to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. You have to have it done already, because there is a level of insight that comes only only when you have accomplished the goal. The process, you learn a lot through the process. The process itself is a teaching moment. That I know. That I know. But achieving the goal itself teaches you a lot. And when you're watching exactly the steps you've gone along the way from outside in, because you're no longer in a process anymore, you can have a different perspective. And from that comes wisdom, from different things that we're learning, different way to share the information. You can probably be more efficient. So there is a certain level of insight. For example, let me give you an example very quick. A passionate coach might tell you almost everything you need to know on how to start. But because he tells you everything you need to know, you find it very easy. You don't take it seriously. You don't. You take it for granted. You might take his information for granted. You don't do it, and then you're not motivated. And at the end of the day, you don't go anywhere. Whereas a mentor might be more wise about it. Instead of telling you everything, he might tell you a little bit. He might tell you, and just to get you motivated enough, but not like desperate enough so that you want to give up and not do anything. So he stays in the middle. And why he does that? Because he has more experience. He's gone through the process. He knows that if he gives you too much, you won't be able to handle it, and he knows when and where to apply this information. So a mentor is more wise, and but it's also harder to find. But we're gonna talk about that. So that's the difference between coach and mentor. But I aspire to be one. I want to be a mentor, especially in the Asian community. We desperately need that. Without mentors, or I believe without mentors, the next generations are going extinct, because there is no one to guide them, and they're just going down in spiral, and there is a point that you just can't reach any lower. So it's very important. All right. So couple of differences between mentors and coaches. Again, guys, if you're just joining in, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel. It really helps grow, especially right now. We're just starting, so our goal is we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. So, and also you can join in on the community Discord if you have any questions. I'm happy to help. So, again, if you're just joining in, hit the like button. It really helps. As a small channel, we definitely appreciate it. Um, so couple differences. So I already alluded to that, but I guess I'll rephrase it again. A mentor can be a coach, but a coach cannot be a mentor. And you will be very lucky if you find a mentor that is willing to coach you as well. If you can find that in the same person, you're very lucky, and do not take it for granted. That is one of the biggest mistake I see. People that are have access to mentors and they're taking it for granted. Hmm. I'm going to share you some stories today, my experience with mentors, and I hope that inspires you. I hope you learn from my experience. I want to share my mistakes with you guys because I believe, me personally, I learn a lot more through my mistakes than I learn through my success. To be honest with you, in my 20s and early 30s, I had almost no success, only failures, failures after failures. I only made probably two good decisions in my life around this time, and everything else was turned out to be a failure. But I had to persevere, didn't give up. And I guess now, to me, it's not a success because I don't. The success is the goal, the end goal. That's what I consider success. But I'm doing better than I was, I would say, in the last 15 years. Like that, I can do. I can say that, and it's because of the principles that we talk about in this channel that really helped me in changing my life around, starting the pattern. We talked about that in the last podcast. That pattern of poor behaviors that's keeping our generation poor, millennials in general, but especially Black people in our community. So, yes, all that to say, there are differences with mentors, and 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 I'm going to share some stories later. But a mentor a mentor can be a coach because and you will understand that when I say this because a mentor speaks broad. Like when he's playing the role of a mentor, he doesn't speak in specific. He speaks kind of like in general. Like he speaks like broad. You know, his goal is to give you kind of like the bigger idea, the big picture. That's what the mentor would do. The mentor is good at giving you the big picture, show you how everything works. His main goal is to change your perspective. That is the main goal of a mentor, is to change your perspective because your mindset. A lot of mentor, they spend a long time working with you on the mindset. They kind of like encourage you, especially on the financial mentor. It would kind of encourage you with kind of like the technical aspect on, hey, you can make money, you can be wealthy, you can do this, you can do that. But they just kind of like say that to keep you hooked. But what they're really trying to do is to change your perspective, to change your mindset. And the mind works slow. Sometimes it's not good to have too much information all at once. And that is a serious issue that in we have in our current generation because never in our lifetime we had access to so much information. You have YouTube, you have your cell phone in your pocket. It doesn't take long before you just type anything and you have access to almost any question. You can have at least some answers to any question you ask. Never in the world we ever had a scenario like this where it was so easy to access information. But that also can cause some problems, and some problems sometimes too much information, too much of anything is a problem, but too much information could be a problem. So the mentors knows that. And what they like to do is to give it to you step by step. And as you sometimes you want to know things, you're excited, you're passionate, especially in the first 3 months, you're very passionate. You start with a mentor, you want to know everything all at once, especially in impulsive characters like me, right? You want to know everything now. You feel like you're wasting time. Nah, you got to take your time. But sometimes experience is the only teacher. And and sometimes the mentor has to kind of like be there for you and let you fail so that you realize this. And then you go back to him and then he gives you another another dose of knowledge, another dose of information. It's a great relationship with a mentor. If you can find one that is a mentor and a coach, do not take it for granted. It is it is not easy. Many mentors, they're very busy, especially in a financial niche. They're wealthy, they're free. Why should they spend a lot of time with you? Like, who are you to them, right? You're just another guy that is trying to learn. So they're not. They're very They're very selfish with their time in a way. So, but if you do find one with who wants to be your coach as well, a coach is very generous with their time. That's another difference, right? Coaches, they speak more specific instead of broad or general. They look at a shorter time frame. If we're talking about differences between coaches and mentors, they look at a shorter time frame. And sometimes they set shorter goals before you get to the bigger goals. The vision is shorter. Mentors, they go big vision. Try to show you the full vision, and that can inspire you. So a mentor can also serve as a role model. A mentor can serve as a role model as well. Now, but the coach is there to giving you the step by step instructions, and that is crucial. If you have the mentor but you don't have anyone to give you a step by step instruction, sometimes the mentor will do it, and most of the time they will not. You will fail. You will have to learn. But at least if you have the mentor, whenever you have access to him, you can ask some questions and learn along the way. But if you have the coach, he can give you the step by step instructions before you fail, before you learn from it. It saves you time. Both saves you time, but in different ways. That is the difference, right? The coach is more has more time to spend with you. He's working on the same goal as you, so he serves as a motivator. It keeps you accountable with your own action. Whereas the mentor, honestly, it's up to you. He gives you the wisdom, he gives you the knowledge, and he leaves it to you. You do what you want with it. But what I like about that is the mentor leaves it up to you so that you come up with your own decisions and your own actions. And that in itself is a learning thing. You can learn a lot from that. The coaches will tell you what to do, and you will have to choose to do it or not, but it will tell you exactly what to do. So each of them serves different purpose, and each of them are important. Now, can a mentor or a financial coach really help you reach your financial goals, right? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I met my mentors, my experience with mentors, and again, let me know in the chat, guys. What do you think so far? Um, I'll have some questions for you guys. Have you ever met a mentor before, or a coach, or someone that can guide you in your financial journey? Have you met anyone who inspired you to want to start in financial journey? Was it an actor? Was it a player? Was it someone in your family? Let me know in the chat. I'm very curious. I want to see. Could, I'm curious to see how different it would be for anyone. So let me know in the chat. I'm very curious. Nope. Cash flow. So you never met a mentor before. Never met a coach. How about a cash flow hunter? How about an inspiration, a role model in the financial industry? Is there someone you're looking up to that you're trying to be like him? Is that something that at least you have found yet, or you are your own role model? So I'm curious. I'm very curious to see what you guys will say. But in the meantime, I'll tell you about how I met my first mentor. So my life changed a lot when I was, I would say, 29. And I guess I was going through I got married in 28 years old. And then after that, I basically had everything that I wanted when I was in my 20s. I was living in a great house, two-car garage, which is exactly what I wanted. I was driving a Mercedes at the time. I had my license plate it was my last name, and my last name is almost like Mercedes, so that was one of my dream. But I wasn't happy, and I couldn't understand why. And I'm like, But I'm supposed to be working for this. Spent my entire years in university and college working for this, and then I have it, and I'm like, man, that's what I was working hard for. Like, all my friends in university were having fun. I was there studying. For this, I was depressing. I was slowly getting into a depression, slowly. And so at that point, I didn't know what to do, but I was kind of looking for a way. And I remember a video from a YouTuber. I think he's called Salomondran. Salomondran. YouTuber called Salomondran. And this guy, at the time though, I was really obsessed with Tesla. I was obsessed with Tesla. I was watching every content I could find on YouTube about Tesla. And I was in forums, I was everywhere. LeBron James is my inspiration. All right. Cash Flow Hunter, thank you for sharing. LeBron James, LeBron James is my inspiration, health, longevity, and financially. That is a great role model. And honestly, I gotta give a shout out to LeBron James because his actions, the way he speaks, is infinitely aware of his influence in the population and especially how he can influence young kids, or not just kids but people in general. And he conducts himself in a way to keep that star shining, to make him so that you're not disappointed in him as a role model, especially when it comes to taking care of his health, longevity. Mr. Year 19. We have the NBA starting now tonight. LeBron is playing year 19, and sometimes he does moves that like almost like it's year 5 for him. So he takes very good care of his health, and also financially, business moves. But who was his role model, especially when it comes to the business moves and financial moves that he's making? Who was his role model? You guys know? You guys know who was LeBron James' role model? I'll give you a hint. I think he released a movie. Was it this year or last year about Space Jam 2, right? Who was his role model? Warren Buffett. Nah, man. I don't think Warren Buffett was LeBron James' role model, but I can tell you Michael Jordan was. Michael Jordan was LeBron James' role model in how to become more than an athlete. LeBron James' role model in how to become more than an athlete came from Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was a star that created that spark in him. That is the role of a role model. A mentor can be a role model, and I'll go. Let me keep you. I'll show you on. I'll tell you an example of how a mentor can be a role model. But let's keep going. So with my life, I was, yeah, of course. No worries, man. No worries. I got you. So yeah, in my life, I was depressed, but I did see this YouTuber, Solomon Dren, and he was in a Tesla Model X. All right. Now he was doing a YouTube video about smoking in the Model X, and the reason why he wanted to do that is because he was testing. They had a new air filter that was supposed to be the next generation stuff. It's supposed to be if there is like a bomb outside, nuclear fallout outside, and you are in this car, you're safe. You had an hospital graded air filter. So Elon Musk and they always go to the extreme, and that serves as a great marketing. And then he was testing that. So what he did was he was actually smoking in the car, and then put the filter on and see what happened and see if there was anything. And then I was like, but I was watching this video as I was working, And I remember it was very late. It was around 9 p.m. I was working basically past 12 hours, and I was tired. I wanted to go to the gym that day, play basketball, but I couldn't because I had to stay to work. My back was hurting because I've been sitting so long. And I'm watching this guy smoking in a car that I want to buy, but I don't. My finances are not that good to buy it because of Tesla Model X. We're talking about like $100,000, right? So I'm watching this man, and I have this feeling, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. I had some hate for him, man. I was watching this video. I'm like, who is this guy, man? What is he doing? And I'm starting to talk to myself, and I'm like, man, this is the life I want. And he looked like he was the same age as me, and that was pissing me off. I'm like, why am I not here? And something happened as I was hating on this guy. I made a decision that day to stop hating on him. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do something about it. I'm gonna try to be like this guy. I'm gonna try to have the free time where instead of being at work 1 a.m. or 1 p.m., I'm actually in a car, enjoying it, have my free time, do whatever I want. That's what I'm gonna try to do. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna try to do it. And so I've been looking around, I've been looking, but ever since that, that the seed is there. I made the decision and I'm looking around, but I don't know anything. I'm not even Googling like how to become a millionaire or anything like that, right? But then I actually end up losing my job not that long after. And as in the process of losing my job to that time I made that decision. I was actually starting to look into starting my own business. I was looking into that in my part time, like how to open a company, how to start a business. I was thinking of business ideas. And then in January, um, I lost my job. And when I lost my job, and at that time, I'm like, you know what? And that was the second time in my life that I lost my job. So at that time, I was like, you know what? That's it. I'm not going to leave and look for a job anymore. I'm I'm going to just go out there, start a business, risk anything. And then if I fail, at least I'll learn from my mistake. Because at that time, I understood how my life works. My life always works with failures and learning. So I'm like, you know what? I know I'm going to fail. I'm probably going to fail. And I was listening to Elon Musk. Elon Musk was saying, more than over 90% of the business fails. So if you start a business, it's going to fail. Fine. Fine. I'll take it. But I'll start it anyway because I'm tired of this. I want free time. I want to have the money to do whatever I want. So I started. I took all my savings. My wife was not happy about this. Definitely not happy about this. And then I put it in a business. I did every single mistake you can think of in the first 4 months and almost blew all my money. But one of the things I did is and at that time I was so obsessed for knowledge. I wasn't even looking at just knowledge for my business. I was looking at knowledge in everything. How to start a business, how to invest, how to like the real estate. I was doing everything all at once. The business that I started was a startup company. I had an idea that I applied for a patent on it. It was an idea on how to turn a breaker into a smart breaker, putting a computer on it. So the technical aspect, I understood that part, but I knew nothing about the business aspect. And I was tired because I'm like, okay, every time I'm as an engineer, I'm working as an electrical engineer, I'm building products, but I don't understand the business aspect of it. So I'm like, you know what? I understand the business, the engineering part. Let me try starting my own business and learn about the business side. That's how I started. So I'm like, okay, here's my idea. Here's what I want to do as a product, a smart breaker. The purpose of the smart breaker is if you put it in a house, you can have two electrical source. So you can have one that comes from, let's say, the city utility companies, and then the other one can be from your solar panel. And how I got this idea is I was looking at Elon Musk, what he was doing. And again, I was obsessed with Elon Musk at around that time. I was looking at what he was doing. This guy had the solar panels, he had the battery packs. And I'm like, what is he missing? Because if I could do what he's missing, Hopefully, he'll buy me. That's how I started my business, guys. I'm like, if I could do what he's missing and I do it well, hopefully he'll buy me. I'll cash out. I'll be a millionaire right there. And then I took all my savings and I went out there. First 4 months, all gone. But I learned. I learned a lot in those 4 months. But one of the things I did two things that was good in all of these mistakes. The first thing I did is I actually pitched to a university. They loved my idea. And then they actually gave me mentorship and coaching on how to start startup companies. I did that for 2 years. So, and I actually won a contest, and they choose 20 out of 200 people. So great, great. I get free education, and it's actually like an MBA type. It's like a business school type with MBA, all summarized into kind of like a couple months. You learn, and then after you understand how to operate a business, and then you have people to mentor you, keep you accountable, etc. So that was a good thing because there's so much I learned about business after that. I failed in my business, but I was keep trying different ways until I stopped altogether in 2018 and start a new business. But but yeah, I learned so much around that time. But around that time, also, what I did is I was looking into real estate and I was looking into Robert Kiyosaki, and I got this ad from Facebook that was talking about, hey, there will be a mentee of Robert Kiyosaki coming in your city. Do you want to? The ad basically was saying, hey, if you want to meet him, comes on a weekend. And it was all basically a company that is selling real estate courses that basically they do this weekend workshop teaching you about the game, and they just give you enough to inspire you to make you want to buy the course. But as an impulsive guy, and again at that time I just want to learn as fast as I can because I give myself 3 years to try anything I want, and after that I have to kind of like stable down with my wife and start a family, and once you go there you don't have time to do much. So I want to try a bunch of things. As I was debating going to school before I started my business, I was debating should I go to school or should I start a business, and I decided to start a business, and it was the best choice I made because it allowed me to learn a lot more than what I would learn in university, and I've experienced practical experience that I could put in my resume to get actual jobs, and that this is how I was able to transition from one industry to another. But all that to say, guys, yeah, it's I got this real estate course. So I got to the workshop, and the last day they come up with the price. They give you the pitch, the whole pitch. And again, at that time I was gullible. I was all thinking about the end goal and do anything to get there. And the price, man, came out $10,000. $10,000 to get into their network, to get into and you'll have a private course with a mentor that is successful in real estate, and he's going to teach you stuff. And I was debating, and to be honest with you, the money I had was like, if we let's just put it that way, if I give that money to the mentor or to the course, next week I can't do any groceries. That's basically where I was. But I did it. I did it. I did it, man. I did it. Was that a good choice or not? I'll let you decide. But honestly, I do not regret doing it because what I have learned after that changed my life. Now, it took actually a while before I met my mentors. So it's so weird. Like, you give $10,000, they give you some materials to study, they give you a course that is online, and then after you're actually going to spend the time with a mentor, is going to see real estate with you, going to show you how it works. But before you get to the mentor part, it took like 3 months. I paid this course, and I'm like $10,000 gone. But I'm like, I'm not seeing a mentor. Where is he, right? But I did it, and it's good because there's so much I could do. I was running not just my startup business, but I also had a consulting company, and then which was related to real estate and technology, and with how do you call it, solar panels. So I found a way to write off a lot of that money as learning for my business. So that was a good thing too. So again, things that I actually learned along the way, which I had no idea when I was making the decision to buy the course, right? So all that to say, guys, when I first met my mentor, he was teaching me some games about real estate. But when I tell you guys the the biggest takeaway that I got from the entire time I spent with him, I spent a weekend with him, and then I had access to call him whenever I needed to. But that weekend, and he showed me a lot. There was so much information I got. I still have the notes. I know exactly a bunch of things. But the biggest takeaway, guys, what I remember as if it was yesterday, is he pulled out a check in his bag and he asked me to hold it. And it was a copy of a check, and it was a $1 million. And he told me, I made this, I made this money in real estate last week. $1 million check. So right here, I'm trying to debate how to like buy a Tesla, $100,000. And again, I want you guys to understand this because there is a lot you can learn from this. I am thinking about spending money. I want to start a business to go spend money. I want to start a business to have time to spend money. That cycle of bad behaviors. You don't know what you don't know. I guess you can say you know what you know what you don't know, right? But there is also you don't know what you don't know. Like for example, I know I want to buy a Tesla. I don't know how, but I know I don't know how. But I don't know that I can earn $1 million and hold it in my hands. So what that mentor did by allowing me to hold his copy of a check, it wasn't even the real check, but it looked as if it was like it was a color for the copy of it. So it's and I know the bank, like it's a major bank in the city, like can't fake that. And it was $1 million. He pulled out $1 million, and it was and the date on the check was last week, the week prior. I made $1 million in real estate, and I did that purposely because he needed some investment. But he actually went extra hard because he wanted it to be a million so that he can actually inspire us. He told me that after. And guys, that that right there was not just a spark. Everything that I'm doing after this, everything that I did after this was not just buy the Tesla anymore. So right then and there, it changed my perspective. It's funny because my business is I wanted to do the smart breaker so that I can help communities and and countries become more efficient about managing electricity and save money and cut their electricity by half. There's even an article released about the technology that I did. Maybe I can share it with you guys and show you what I mean. But it's that's what I was looking into doing. So I was so if we're talking about am I thinking about the big vision? I have this capability of thinking about big vision. Why? Because I'm trained to do it. I'm a big thinker in general, right? So when it comes to technical aspect in my job, I have no problem thinking in big picture. But when it comes to financial goals, my vision was limited. And all I was thinking about was spending money because I didn't know much. I didn't know any better. So what that mentor did is, and if you guys think I'm playing, all right, let me share with you my screen. That's the article right here. I was 30 years old back then. Share screen. All right, let's go. Let's go do it. Let me show you guys. And I see some chat coming in. We're gonna read that. We're gonna read the chat. So check this out. I was living in Markham, Ontario at that time. Markham Innovator says product could save you 50% on hydro bills. Hydro is kind of like the company, utility company that pays you electricity and that provides you electricity in Ontario, right? So York University was a university that was kind of helping me, guiding me along the way. So yeah, this article was explaining a little bit about the technology, how it works, kind of like quotes that I say. Today more than ever in global knowledge economy, it is essential, obvious that to us. Anyway, you can read it, whatever. But that these were my big vision, and I was thinking, and there is a picture that I could have included to show you the scale of my product. Because as an entrepreneur, you need to be able how to think of scaling your business, and so that was my smart breaker. You can take energy source or more, two or more, and I had designs to do up to four energy sources, and you can have maybe your bathroom or maybe your laundry room running on solar panel because this is more energy intensive versus having the living room, your TV running on the energy provided by the grid, as opposed to have your entire house provided by the grid. So, and that could automatically cut your cost more than half if you do it efficiently and have a computer to manage that. And I had designed the whole thing, right? And even applied for a patent in the technology on how to use it. I was surprised that no one else did it. I was surprised. I'm like, this should someone should be there. And again, all came down from following Elon Musk. I was saying, hey, if what is you Elon Musk is gonna end up doing it, I gotta do it first before him. Because if he buys me, I'll be a millionaire and then I'll be able to spend money. But man, that day I hold a check. I didn't want to give it back. I didn't want to give it back. I'm looking at the check. I'm like, is this real? I'm holding $1 million in my hands. Is this real? Is this really possible? Like you never think that you could do it. You see other people do it, but sometimes you never think that you can do it. And and that day, my biggest takeaway, there's so much knowledge he taught me. But my biggest takeaway from that, it didn't just light up a spark in me when he gave me that check. He put some gas on my fire. Because I was motivated that year, man. I was motivated, and I'm still motivated to reach my goals. But man, I'll never forget that. I want to make that check become mine and look at it and be like, yes, I did it. But that's what a mentor can do for you. Give you that spark. So that mentor was also a role model in a sense that it gave me and the importance of having the spark and that vision, someone who can motivate you. It's because when everything fails, it's that spark that's going to keep you warm. It's that fire that's going to keep you warm. Because man, when things fails, it hurts. And that's where the mentor is beneficial. And that a coach can do. That a coach can do. So, yes, guys, my first mentor, he taught me a lot. He taught me about the abundance mindset. Never even understood that concept until I met him. Paid $10,000 for it. You can learn it for free from someone else. You can probably find it on YouTube. But back in the days, 5 years ago, YouTube wasn't even as, you know, I think it was almost that same year that, how do you call him? Ty Lopez was pumping his ads. I'm here in my garage. And then that started a whole niche of financial gurus online. But prior to that, you weren't going to find that many information about financial education out there. So I paid for it. But man, he taught me about abundance mindset. And that was the seed. And I started thinking about that. I already mentioned that. He inspired to be a millionaire by giving me a check and asked me to hold it. He coached me on how to reach people play the real estate game to keep money. And one of the things he did is He showed me the true purpose of real estate. True purpose of real estate is not to make money. The true purpose of real estate is first to provide shelter to people, and second, to be compensated for this, and that allows you to keep your money. He was very good on making sure that you don't do business for the bad reasons, and that was um, a great. I'm so happy that I met my mentor early on my in my career and in my financial journey, because sometimes when you're too ambitious, it's easy for you to lean in a way where you might start doing in a gray area, you know? But when you find someone who inspires you and also you looking up to, and that person guides you and inspire also to be to do it right, to do it for the right reasons. That is good. That is good. That is a good mentor right there. So I'm happy. It cost me $10,000 and it wasn't easy to do. It was not easy to do, but I did it. So that's what I learned from my first mentor. I learned how to, and again, he taught me how to reach people, basically use real estate to keep money, but also to provide shelters, to keep it. And he was one of the most humble men. He picked me up. He was driving a 2001 Caravan, rusted, rusted, uh, purple, rusted Dodge Caravan, 2001. He came, like I'm a car guy. I'm a car guy. I'm paying $10,000 to go listen to this guy, and this guy is coming to pick me up in my house with a rusted Caravan, 2001, purple, purple, like at least silver, at least black, or at least something gray, like purple. Man, but I was curious. I wanted to learn more about this guy. I was intrigued. How in the hell are you gonna convince me to follow you, to listen to you with picking me up like this? So I asked him as soon as we got to the course, and I asked him, like, why do you drive this? Especially after giving the check. If you're really worth $1 million, why do you drive this? He's like, I was waiting for this question. He told me I could see it in your eyes. The reason why he does that is because he wants to stay humble. And not only that, because he has so many units, he understands the poor people mindset. They like to hate on things they cannot have, and they like to push their anger in people that, that are rich, for example. So let's say someone in one of his units can't pay rent. So not only they're frustrated about not being able to pay rent, their life is not doing well, and then you as the rich guy driving a Mercedes showing up, and you're showing out there, it just invoke certain emotions out of people that he says that it's not good for business. So what he does, he drives a purple Caravan. And the reason why it's a Caravan, because he also has tools in the back, and he inspects his own property. He actually taught himself how to be an inspector, a property inspector, so that he can understand, he can find undervalued assets and save on cost. Very frugal man. Millionaire people are some of the most frugal people you will ever meet. But that's what he was doing. And that was wisdom right there. When I saw that, I'm like, wow. Wow. So you here, and he was Japanese. He was a Japanese guy. I'm like, I even told him, I'm like, you here looking like Mr. Miyagi, you know, all quiet, simple, like a poor guy, and you asking me to hold $1 million check that you just cashed in last week. And he watched me. He's like, that was the smile on his face, and he stopped and he kept going with his course. That was wisdom right there. But that taught me a lot. That was my interaction with my first mentor. After that, I was so ambitious, guys. And that's one of the things. If I forgot to mention tonight, I'll mention it now. If you want to find a mentor, um, they love to see people that are ambitious. They love to see that if they're going to spend their energy and time in giving you an advice, that you're actually going to use it. They don't like to waste time. And I was so ambitious after the course. I was calling him all the time. Like, you know what? I know another guy. He has more time. Um, I'll refer you to him. And then there's a lot of questions you're asking that is not even real estate related. So I'll just refer you to him. So he introduced me to my second mentor. And my second mentor, I learned a lot. I don't know, but before I start, I want to give a couple shout out here. I see a lot of chat coming in. Thank you guys. Thank you very much for this. Um, um, yo, man, this is a lot of chat coming in. I want to go through a lot of them. So let's see. Hey, what's up, J Bones? What's up? What's up? How are you doing? Thank you for showing up here and showing support. Jersey checking in. No worries. Yvonne T. Thank you, Yvonne T. Thank you for showing up. Uh, Boss moves, big flex. What do you mean big flex? What was the flex? What was the flex? Let me know in the chat. Um, Look who it is, Mr. R&B. Come on, man. Come on, man. Mr. R&B, please just keep it friendly, man. Keep it nice. Keep it nice. Side, social leader. Avanti, Avanti. Buy a Tesla. What's up? Buy a Tesla, brother. Best investment I've ever made. Wow, nice. You have a Tesla. Great, man. I love these cars. Since 2008, since I was in high school, in university. So buy a Tesla. Best investment I've ever made. Great tax write off. Oh yes, I agree. I breezed through Manhattan traffic. Yes, and that's one of the things we had in Ontario. We had kind of like a lane. We call it the HOV lane, high occupancy lane, and basically yeah, you can buses goes there and electric cars. So if you have a Tesla, you can kind of like skip a lot of traffic because this lane is for emergency or community bus or Teslas. Yeah, good, cool. Big picture again. Yeah, guys, thank you again for being interactive in the chat. That's what I love to see. And thank you for being supportive. J Bones, yes, solar panels is the way to go. I agree. Agree. It can save a lot of money, and I'm definitely into commercial real estate, and that's something I want to do in Haiti as well. I saw my parent doing that in Haiti, and that's probably one of the reasons why I had always had electricity in my house. So very young, I was looking into solar panels and electric and engineering, and that's why I went to that field anyway. Um, Gasoline on the fire. Facts. Facts. Yes, man. Sometimes a mentor can inspire you, and sometimes it could be a spark, but sometimes it could be gasoline on the fire. And for me, it was definitely that. Holding it. It would have had different impact if you had told me about it. I would like, you know what? Yes, that's great. But holding it, wow. And recognizing the bank and the address. I'm reading the bank. And I don't know about how it is in other countries, but in Canada, when you have a check, you have the bank, and then you have the address on the bank. And I'm reading it, and I know this bank. That so it's more like real in my eyes. I know this bank. I've been there before. I One time I was trying to run to the club, went to that ATM very quick on that bank, and I know that bank. That's where this guy cashed out $1 million. Makes it real. Gasoline in the fire. Maybe one day I could go to that same bank. That's the way I was thinking about it. Yes, I agree. Importance to have electric car right now, especially right now, and we're going to see that more and more in this decade. Inflation's going up, so if inflation's going up, it's probably going to reflect itself in the price of gas at some point. Hit the like button. Thank you guys very much. Thank you guys very much. Please hit the like button. It really helps, especially with a small channel. Our goal here is 1,000 subscribers. And by liking the video, you helping it share on YouTube, more people can see it and join in. And all right, guys, le chèque ils vont y. And last comment for tonight: a solar panel cut off. Oh, cut, cut off of my investment money in Ghana. Saved me so much. Yes, yes, I agree. I agree. It can save you a lot, especially in outside of North America, in like other countries, especially in Haiti, in the Caribbean. You can have problems with electricity. Hey, how you doing? What's up, Lindsay? Thank you for showing up tonight. All right, so let's get going, guys, and with the video. And for second mentor, I'll be quick with that one. But the second mentor, it was more like on the technical aspect of it, less about inspiration, more about, because I guess it was inspired me in what was possible. And I never had anyone tell me anything like this before, and I never even conceived this was possible. But you taught me a lot about keeping money, how to play the game. It was more greedy, this guy. So he was talking to me about how to play the game as a rich person in building generational wealth. So he taught me about a lot of that. He taught me a lot about, and some of it was in real estate as well, but the business. He was telling me about the game of business and what you can do in tax write-offs and all that. And I was like, wow. And let me tell you guys a story about my first mentor. He showed me a book that he wrote, and this book that he wrote, he went to Hawaii to write it down. Now, as a real estate investor, he was also looking into real estate in Hawaii. So while he was there, he saw some real estates, and then after he decided to stay 3 months there. He wrote a book, and when he came back, he actually was looking into selling the book. But he came back richer. So he went there basically in a 3 month vacation. When he got back richer because all of his investment was keep paying him. And then everything that he spent while he was away was a tax write off. Everything. Tax write off the tickets, going going there, coming back, first class. Tax write off the stay, 3 months. The book is a business. You can sell it, right? That's a business. You provide value to people. That's a business right there. So I'm working. And also he can he's also working in his real estate. He's looking at real estate. He has every proof of everywhere he went, documented everything. So while he was there, he was working in his real estate business as well. So when he got back richer. And then basically, in terms of how much tax write off he has, it's almost as if he didn't spend any money. And that's the game the rich people are playing, guys. They're very good at keeping money. And a lot of what they're doing is their ability to multiply money comes from being great at keeping it. You're keeping it, you multiply it, and then you'll keep it. You multiply it, you keep it. And there's a lot of knowledge, guys, out there that a lot of people don't know. And I wouldn't even be exposed to this if I didn't make the first step. Instead of hating on the YouTuber, I actually subscribed to him after that day, and I still watch him till this day. He's a car entrepreneur. I love cars, so he makes reviews about cars all the time. I still watch him till this day. If I didn't make that first step, I would never have been in a situation where I'm meeting someone who's asking me to hold his own $1 million check and inspiring me to do the same. So coaches are very important. Not and coaches are important because they can save you time, they can guide you step by step, but a mentor also is can change your perspective. And the first thing that needs to be changed is your perspective, because if you have the poor mindset and you have the step by step to do things, you're just going to you- you're just going to a place where you're actually going to cause more harms because the mindset wasn't ready for it. Working and saving tax at the same time. So what I learned from my first coach Again, when I was doing a lot of things, 2016, I met him. My first coach is he coached me on how to do options, and this guy was working in it was the Toronto Stock Exchange, so I guess that's our version of of Wall Street. But he was working in there, and he started his own coaching school, and I paid him $2,000 to learn on how to trade options. But because I did that, he taught me I save a lot of money. There's a lot of risks that I didn't need to take. Uh, and when I say I save a lot of money, is in dumb decision I would have made if I didn't know how. If I would have tried it on my own. And at the time, in 2006, 2015, 2016, there weren't that many YouTube videos out there that was teaching a bunch of things. So it's not like I could watch a YouTube video and figure it all out. I wouldn't even know what option was until he explained it to me and showed me why it's a better way to invest. Not invest, but if you want to do short term trading, it's a better way to do it than invest in stock for short term and hold it. And there's a lot I learned from him, a lot. But yeah, it's that's what I learned from my first coach. But he was giving me the step by steps on how to do it. But what he was doing, if I stayed only with this coach, I would have still be trading options, but I wouldn't be working on my retirement plan. I wouldn't be working on building generational wealth. Why? Because he's focusing on the shorter goals. He's not the bigger vision guy, and he's focusing on the step by step on how to do a specific task, not the big picture. Right. My second coach was for my startup company, and he was guiding me on how to run my startup company. And I saved so much time. There's a lot of mistake I did on my first company that I didn't make on my second company. Why? Because I had the coach, and I learned from my mistake too. But in less time, I achieved a lot more in my second company in less time. Why? Because I had someone to coach me, to keep me accountable, to push me there, to motivate me. When I'm stuck, I can call him, I can guide him. I know exactly what to do this step. And after this step, I know exactly what to do after that step. So he's there. And in that time, and this is how I'm saying, in 1 year, I've learned over 4 years worth of university in business plus an MBA degree. And on top of that, I have the real life experience, which is more valuable than the degree. So you can, coaches and mentors can help you save a lot of time, a lot of time. But anyway, so all that to say, um, after that, so I started with real estate, okay, and then I was doing business. At the time, I was also doing options. I was doing many things, right? Not focused enough. And but what I was also doing is I was doing a lot of learning on my own, because at the time I was talking to people, I see how they think, so I'm starting to googling what they know, and then YouTube was there, and at around 2017, financial content on YouTube really started booming. So between the years of 2017 and 2019, I probably consume at least 45 videos a day when it comes to financial content. Anything about investing, anything about trading or building wealth, business, stock, anything. I was consuming information, just a sponge, absorbing everything. And this is the time I learned that you can have many mentors. You can have mentors online. You can have mentors you never met, but you can learn from them. And a lot of them and a lot of people, they share their experience, and you can learn like from their experience. There's mentors that goes in podcasts. You can listen to their entire process and learn from that, and take a little bit of each of these people, and together mix it together to apply it in your own life scenarios and cook your own strategy. That's what I learned from online mentors, whether it was free or paid. And I did both. I did both. And also, I'm gonna talk about how to find fake gurus, or not necessarily how to find them, but you're going to find them. But yeah, fake gurus are there too. And online, it's the online, especially in these times right now, there is an abundance of fake gurus out there. But how do you find them? How do you know that? They have to achieve what you're trying to achieve. And not only that, um, someone who puts themselves in a situation where they makes it easy to find you is not a good mentor. Like if they put themselves in a situation where it's very easy to find them, that's not a good mentor. A good mentor is someone who is not easy to find, and you have to show how dedicated you want to see, you want to find him. Whether it's paying $10,000 or sending a lot of messages and emails until you find them. But that relationship will be more valuable and more personal than someone you meet online and it makes himself easy for everyone. And sometimes that's exactly the relationship you need. It's that personal relationship, someone that you can talk to and understands how your finances related with your family and your personal life, and understand your philosophy, how you think, your personality type, and give you an advice that fits for you, and not just a general advice that fits for everyone. And that's the benefit of having a coach and a mentor, especially if you have everyone the same in one person, like coach and a mentor in the same person. It's very valuable. Do not take it for granted if you find it. So, all that to say, I learn a lot from online mentors. A lot. Can teach, can learn, pick a lot of information from people, put it together, and but sometimes learning. But I'll let you know this much. There is this guy called CoffeeZilla. He's a YouTuber. CoffeeZilla is making a. He actually became popular because he started exposing fake gurus out there. But one of the fake gurus that he loves to expose is called Dan Lok. Now, the funny part is, if you would listen to CoffeeZilla, then if you would listen to CoffeeZilla, gurus are evil. That's the way he sees it. Gurus are evil. If you have a guru, if you're online, your guru, you're doing something wrong. You're trying to trick people and taking their money by giving them information that they can probably find anywhere in a book, maybe. But I don't read. I don't like to read. I mean, I do know how to read. I just don't like to read, so I don't read. The way I consume information is audio or video, but I don't like to read. So, okay, I guess I can go from books. I have to find someone who's willing to talk it or show it in a video. That's where Google helps. But there are good ones, but they're rare. Online, online gurus, there are good ones, but they're rare. Some of them are bad ones and they're still expensive. Wow, these are the worst. But some of them are good and they're expensive. But one of the gurus that CoffeeZilla was talking about is Dan Lok. Dan Lok is a good salesman, absolutely. He is. He is. But one of the when I was waking up after that, I hold that check, and I had that abundance mindset, and I wanted to stay in that energy, and I was reading. One of the books I read, if you guys are here, I guess we could say Robert Kiyosaki can be your first online mentor. You definitely need to read Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Rich Dad Poor Dad is an absolute must. So this book, it's a perfect blend between working on your mindset, showing you how the game works, and it's a perfect mentorship in a book. If you don't like books, do it audiobook like I did. It's the perfect type of mentorship in a book. Give you just a little bit of information to keep you intrigued so that you can do your own research and come up with your own decisions, but also inspiring you, also showing you what's possible. everything my mentor did. But I did that. I bought the book after um, I paid for my mentor. I'm not saying that the book is worth $10,000. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that yeah, it's a great book. There's a lot of things mentors are doing that he does in his book, and it's a classic. It will always be a classic. And you need to what you need to read this book. But another book that I read was "Fu Money" from Dan Lok, and that book was very influential on me. So although you could say Dan Lok, especially in what was revealed with him after, you could say that he's a fake guru or scam artist or whatever you want to say. But that book, that that f- that added more gasoline. Fu money, and there's so much. There's great knowledge, and in fact, you know what? For Dan Lok, if you really want to know, like around 2016, 2017, Dan Lok was perfect. He wasn't selling any course. He was just providing YouTube videos. And again, I was consuming YouTube videos. That's why I loved it. But his knowledge into around 2016, 2017, maybe 2018 as well. But late 2018, beginning of 2019, that's when he started, you know. But 2016, 17, Dan Lok, whoo, this guy was dropping knowledge, free knowledge online. And we're talking about game mindset, a lot of things that are crucial to know about changing your mindset and building wealth and develop skills to do it. Lots of great knowledge. So FU Money was written around that time, actually before 2016, but while he wasn't corrupted. He wasn't corrupted. I think YouTube corrupted him. I think he realized how much views that he was getting, and then put it together that he can make an online course, leverage his audience, and then he really pushed it to the limit. I think that's what happened. Good people can turn bad. Good people can be corrupted. Money can corrupt people, and sometimes when you're too young and you have too much influence, it's not always a good thing. I think that's what happened to Dan Lok. I invite you to check CoffeeZilla because CoffeeZilla made an interview with someone who lost $25,000 um, paying for download course. Shout out to R&B. Ty Lopez too. Ty Lopez has courses. He was the first guy that started all this with his did you guys know Ty Lopez spent $2 million on his ad? The ad that the ad that he's famous for. Hey, I'm here in my garage. He spent $2 million, and he actually was talking to one of his friends. Made a bet that this investment was going to give it and make him rich. He spent $2 million, and we're talking about 2015, if I'm not mistaken, 2015 when he made this ad. There was almost no content on YouTube. Like no, the trend of gurus talking online about financial information was not big. There was almost no one doing it. At that time, I couldn't recall any influential people doing it. And he pushed that ad. Boom. And 67 million views. He pushed that video, and then he paid 2 million in ads to push the video. 67 million views. It's probably one of the most watched financial content or video in the financial niche content. So that created an entire generation of gurus out there. But he made bet. He's like, hey, this is going to make me rich. That was a calculated investment and strategy that he did. And there was a lot of psychology that he did when it comes to keeping people's attention, keeping making people interested. The way he wrote his script, I learned copywriting from Dan Lok. Here's one thing I learned from Dan Lok, and I'm always going to be grateful, regardless of what's going on with him. First, his FU Money book definitely put lot more lot more gasoline into my fire. Second, his content in 2016, 2017, 2018 in his channel. I don't know if you guys can go see that. I don't know if it's still there because he posts so many videos every day that it might be buried too deep. But if you can pull these up, whoo, wealth of knowledge, wealth of knowledge. It's rare to find anyone willing to talk the knowledge that he was sharing around these times. Rare, very rare. But yeah, one of the things that I'm always going to be grateful for Dan Locke is he helped me figure it out my strategy, the strategy that works for me, the wealth engineering strategy. There is a very important part of it that comes straight from Dan Locke. I told you there's three things very important in building wealth: learn how to make money, learn how to keep money, and learn how to multiply money. Learn how to make money, the concept of high income skills. Dan Locke stamped that. That's the concept of high value man. You can say Kevin Samuel owns it. The concept of high value skills, Dan Locke owns it. And that changed my perspective. That's what a great mentor does. Help you change your perspective. And when your perspective change, you can start thinking of new ideas. New ideas that you can start thinking and apply them in your own life. That's what a great mentor does. So the concept of high income skills, I'm forever grateful for that, like, because the job I have right now, I have it because I started thinking that way. I started thinking of after I was being laid off all the time. I spent 2017. I didn't work at all. I was working on my own business, hustling, doing consulting, finding ways to make money. And while I was spending a lot of money, 2018 I didn't work. I think I started my YouTube channel in 2018. You can see me doing Uber. And the one thing you won't see anymore, but I also had another, my company, my second company is called Vazi Ride. And then I was doing another YouTube channel called Vazi Ride, where on at night I had people in my car. I would had a karaoke set up, and then I would get them to sing, and then I was putting video upline at line, and that was marketing for my company. I was doing that as a promotion for my company because the second company was downloading an app for the rideshare app so that you can synthesize all the rideshare in your city into one app, kind of like hotels.com, but for rideshare. So that's the idea I was working on for my second company. And I was doing that YouTube channel as a promotion and to get more views and to get more people interested. And hey, maybe you can download the app and something like that, right? So, but I was doing YouTube, and I started my YouTuber on there, but I was doing Uber, and I did Uber as a way also to maintain my income while to allow me to have the time to work on my startup company, to talk with developers on how to develop this app, to access um, um, Uber's platform and be able to extract information there, right? So, like to access Uber's API, to come build a test model. Let's try it out, and then understand what the customer wants. That was a great wealth of knowledge. So what's going on here? Let me give me a second here. Give me a second. All right, still there, still there. Let me guys know something happened here. Let me guys know if you can still hear me in the chat. Press a one if you can still hear me. All right, all right. I think we're still rolling. We are still rolling. Perfect. That's what happens when you go live, guys. Sometimes things go not according to plan, but perfect. Thank you, J Bones. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, guys. So all that to say, guys, yes, there are fake gurus out there. And the story about, and go check out CoffeeZilla because thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Jay Boons. Um, go check out CoffeeZilla because and there is something also, there is a lesson learned from this, because again, Dan Locke was very influential in my awakening, and also in utilizing my skills and find ways to generate income. I'll tell you this much: I did 2018 doing Uber, working on my startups, but the skill I was developing in that year was very crucial in the startup industry. Now I was CEO of my own company. I can basically, I'm learning the skills of what it takes to be a CEO. So what I find out is in 2019 things weren't going well with the company, and then I found out, I did market research. You can do research for the next 5 years, see how the industry will grow. And then Tesla was talking about plans, and I was obsessed with Tesla, and there was something Tesla started hinting at, and right then and there I'm like, you know what, um, I'm not going to spend more time in it. And it was going to take $20,000 for me to do the app, but that time I did not want to spend the money. Learn from my mistake. I had to have the market pay for it if you wanted to, and that's one way to validate if there is a demand for your product. And I couldn't generate enough revenue for the app development, so I stopped the project right there and then move on and start looking into the job market. But when I went back to the job market, I wasn't just an engineer anymore. And first lesson: sometimes you go to school, you go for 4 years or 3 years, and by the time you get out of school, the market changes on you. And in my industry, I was an electronic engineer. In my industry, market change after I got out, and then China was pumping their marketing in North America and taking all the business from and people like me. So it's not beneficial for a company to pay someone like me a lot of salary when they can go to China and have the circuit boards made by their own engineer, and then also printed there for free, and then they, with express shipping and all that, they get it very quick. So the trend in my industry was going that way, more in Asia and less in North America, which is why I was keep getting laid off all the time. So when I realized that, the second time I lost my job, then I first started my businesses. I spent 2 years doing so many things, and then learn a lot. Everything I know about a lot of things I learned in these 2 years. And after, when I got back to the job market, I wasn't just an engineer. I was former CEO of my startups, two startups, right? I learned sales. I learned marketing. I learned copywriting. I learned pitch. I learned contract negotiation. I learned a lot of skills that many high value men has. I learned many high value skills. I learned how to invest, how to read a financial sheet, like how to validate the market. Like there's so many skills. So when I combine that with the experience I had in the engineering industry by building circuit boards, and I put that together, I actually went into a field where there was not many people like me. So I went from having many electronic engineers, and none of them can find jobs because the jobs are going to China, to combining my experiences in engineering and business, which I thought I was losing money on. I thought I was going to fail right from the beginning. Remember, I said I was going to fail, but I tried anyway. Mix that together, and that creates an entire new field. And you can call it sales engineering, you can call it product owner, but basically it's a mix of both engineering and business. And that's a great demand in my city, in the United States, great salary. So that's a great way to start. So even though that the third time I lost my job, the third time I lost my job, I it was COVID. COVID hit, and I was working for a startup, and that was a risk though. When with my background and my startup history, I'm very appealing for a company looking to hire someone. A startup is going to hire me, more likely going to hire me than they're going to hire um, someone else. But in a company that is stable, I guess a big company, They wouldn't necessarily hire me because I do too many things, right? They like to have someone who's doing one thing. And actually, I don't like that. I like being involved in many things. So startup is the perfect fit for me. But one of the risks with startups is you get they're risky. They can go out of business in a couple months, right? That's the risk. So when COVID hit, I was affected. My startup was affected, and I lost my job. But I wasn't too worried, not as I was in the last previous two times, because I had with the skills that I had. But I was still worried because I went there twice already. So, but at the time also I was doing a lot of investments and trading, and that's another story for another day. But all that to say, guys, um, what I learned from not CoffeeZilla, but Dan Locke is the skills, like the high income skills. I made a list of high income skills that I want, and I go after each one of them one by one. I make a list of 7 high income skills that I want, and then I recommend you guys do the same. The average millionaire has at least, the very least, 3 high income skills. The average millionaire has at least 3 high income skills, not just skills, high income skills. So that's definitely what I'm grateful for that luck. But as I said, money can corrupt you. And to go check out CoffeeZilla. CoffeeZilla made an interview with someone who lost $25,000 with Dan Locke, and that's one of his most viewed videos. But that video actually helped me. It helped me save another $10,000. Around that time, I was actually looking into signing up to um, Dan Locke's course. Dan Locke was promoting a course, and because I developed this rapport with him in the last 2 years or 3 years at that time, I felt I trust him. I felt like if he's making a course, even if he's charging 2,500 for it, it's worth it. If he's doing this level of knowledge on YouTube, then his course he must be doing something better. So it's worth it. So I was more comfortable to make that purchase than I would have to make any other purchase online for that price, 2,500. But then the week I was about to make it, I think I got something happened. I didn't end up making it, and the next week he closed the program, and I was like, man, I missed it. And then the next time he actually opened the program, the price went up to $10,000. Danlock is a master at showing value, kind of like pushing the value with the pricing. He's a master at that, but he abused it. I think he abused it. He used his influence. He saw his skills. He saw what he could do, and he just went there. And he talks a lot about MLM. And we're going to make a podcast about companies like MLM because there's a lot of people who fall for these as they're trying to seek for mentors, as they're trying to seek for a way to be financially free. They sell you the dream, and then they lock you into MLM. And also CoffeeZilla talks a lot about that. So shout out to CoffeeZilla and the Drip podcast for doing so. Me personally, I try to have a debate with him. You guys may not know this, but he was actually inviting people to his platform and ask him, hey, if you want to defend gurus out there, join his platform. And I wanted to. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because not all gurus are bad. There's a lot of bad ones online. There's a lot of people that are trying to prey on people's dream, on people's insecurities, on people's financial problems, and use that to make money. There's a lot of that online. So you got to be careful when you try to seek a mentor, try to seek coaches. You don't fall for that. You got to be careful. But it doesn't mean every mentor and every coach is bad. It just means you have to find the good ones, and the good ones you have to work harder for it. If it's easy to find, it may not be that good. It may not be. I'm not saying it's not, but yeah, it's. I try to have a debate with him, and the reason why I'm saying it's, I'm aspiring to be a mentor. I'm aspiring to be, and a lot of that I'll be doing it online. So I may be one day an online mentor. Maybe. I offer a course right now. Some people say it's expensive. I agree, but I do it anyway, and I have my reasons for it. I don't necessarily need the money from my wild engineering course, but I do it anyway. I have my reasons for it. Doing it is a step. Taking the step to do it, you may not be comfortable to pay that price, and it's not that expensive. If you can buy a Jordan shoes, you can pay for a wild engineering course, and I try to provide as much value as possible. I think people who took my course can attest for that. I try to provide as much value as possible. I think I have over 40 hours worth of content on my course. On top of that, I designed the wealth engineering Discord group where I provide value every day by paying for our content, access information, insider information, sharing it with the group. That's what I do. Some information that helps me. I know people in my group that made some good money based on the information that I provide um, on a weekly basis. But I'm not here to promote the group. I'm just saying that I one day I may very well be an online mentor making an ad. Someone might see it. It doesn't mean it's evil, and that's where I disagree with CoffeeZilla. Someone could be actually wanting to help, and especially for someone in a Black community, there is a lot of things I learn online. And I'm going to give a shout out to Mike Maloney. Out of all the mentors that I've met online, he's one of the most influential ones. He's the foundation for the wealth engineering strategy. The wealth engineering strategy is a simple strategy to build generational wealth. If you took my course, you know exactly what I'm saying. But the wealth engineering strategy is a compilation of a lot of different mentors that I hear, mentors that I met, right? I met these mentors, I hear them online. I take a little bit of all that, I puzzle it together, I run a simulation, and I see what is the most efficient way to achieve that goal, generational wealth. And then I apply it. I test it. I do a test run. That's exactly the same process an engineer would do. You design, you do a beta testing, you test it, you see how it works, and then you go back and you work it out, and then you do it again. But when I tried it the first time, it actually helped me. Um, got out because I was around 2018. At the end of 2018, I was really drained. I put too much energy on chasing wealth. I was chasing wealth. Put too much energy on it. I was drained. My body was breaking down. The liver. I sat down the entire year, 2018, driving Uber. Body was breaking down. I was gaining weight, and I was super in a health around that time. So I had to drop the gym. So I was not happy at the end, and I was chasing, and I didn't achieve it. So I was depressed at the end of the year again. And but 2019, I puzzled it, and I was doing something already that I noticed that was working. So I developed it, back tested, do it again. It was working on me. I tried it with my brother. Ask my brother again. I had to do the same work, change his mindset. It was very hard to get my brother to start considering investing. He was in a spending mindset, and he was younger than me. So that's what he was doing. Very hard, but I pushed on it. I pushed him. I was the coach. I was the coach there. I was pushing him. I was encouraging him. And thank God for my brother because he saw me that I'm consistent around his life, that I'm always here to motivate him to do better. So at some point he took me seriously and he did that. And I'm happy he did that because this year there is an investment that he made that is really going to set him for good. Very happy for him. Very happy. But it wasn't easy to get there. And sometimes as a mentor, you need to be patient with your student. You know, as a coach, you need to be patient. Not everyone works on the same schedule. But The mentor, normally the way it's supposed to work is the student go finds the mentor. And at that time, I was trying to find the student. I was trying to influence the student. Sometimes the student is not ready. And then when the student is not ready, you can try anything you want. It will not get there. So the way it's supposed to work is the student go finds the mentor. So guys, if you're ready, go find your mentor. Go find someone that can be your role model or breed that spark or keep you motivated. Keep you motivated, keep you staying accountable to your goals. Because if you don't do that, it's very easy to fall back on the habits that kept you where you are. It's very easy to fall back on the habits. It takes a lot of mental fortitude to stick by yourself and do it by yourself. It takes a lot of mental strength and courage to do that. It's very easy, and people can influence you, especially in your surrounding. Especially in your surrounding, you're living, let's say, with people in your family that have that mindset, that poor spending habit mindset, that can keep you, that can slow you down. So it's always good to not just find a mentor or coach, but put yourself in a community that are seeking the same goal. That's very, very good advice. You can find mentors there too. You can find coaches there too. And last point I want to make for tonight is how to find great mentors. First way I do it is in Google. I try to focus on a topic that I like, and then I start doing it Google, YouTube, and then to learn more about the industry, and then I go on LinkedIn. And what I do is, let's say Robert Kiyosaki is the most well-known mentor for financial education, whatever. So let's just say that. So what I would do is, if I can't get to Robert Kiyosaki, I go on Google, I go on YouTube, and I say how many people in this niche are done what he's done. So if Robert Kiyosaki, assuming made $100 million, just a random example, so I'm gonna try to find someone who made $1 million, and then try to approach that person, and then reach out to in LinkedIn, reach out in LinkedIn, or I'm gonna try to, if I can't get to a million, then I'll go halfway and try to get that. And when you learn from that person, you stick with that person. And sometimes the lower you go, the more time they have and the more excited they are about it. So they will most likely be your coach as well. That's another trick I learned. And then they guide you. They guide you. Some of them might ask for some sort of compensation. And do not be afraid to invest in your financial education. Do not stay stagnant. Do not be afraid to invest in your financial education, but invest within your mean. Invest within your mean, and there is a lot of things you can find for free on YouTube. There's a lot you can find for free. So do not underestimate YouTube, especially now in 2021, almost 2022. It's not like it was in 2015 when I started looking into my financial journey. It's not the same. So there's a lot you can find on YouTube. So do not underestimate YouTube, and try to puzzle what you're listening online and apply it in your own life. Try to figure out how does this information can make my life better. It may not be the exact same way that he describes it online, but there might be a takeaway that you get from it, and then you change it a little bit, you tweak it a little bit, and then you apply it in your life, and that could be a breakthrough. Sometimes when you're stuck somewhere, go find it, and that's one of the easy things you can do. If you're stuck in a job, your job, and you want to go to the next level, you stuck, try to see if there is a video about it. Try to see if there is content or blogs, research. You don't even have to pay a mentor. You don't even have to look for one yet. Just online YouTube videos is a form of mentorship, is a form of coaching. How to do is a form of coaching, right? How to do this, how to do that. There's a lot of videos on how to do things. So if you're stuck somewhere, and type it on Google, type it on YouTube. If you like to learn like me on YouTube, type it. I told you, when I was learning a lot of my financial knowledge between 2017 and 19, I consume at least 45 videos a day. Some would be lasting an hour, some would last 10 minutes, some would last 3 minutes. At least 45 videos a day. But I'm not saying you need to go to this extreme. I'm saying if you're stuck somewhere, try to see if there is a piece of information outside of your mind that you can listen to that can trigger an idea, a solution on how to go through that. That's a form of mentorship right there. So, how to find mentors? I love doing that. Google, YouTube, LinkedIn. LinkedIn to approach people in my city. When as I and when I was in startup, there is I found another mentor specifically because I had an issue. My coach, he was talking more on the marketing and business setup side, but I needed to be an advice on someone who actually built an app, right? So my coach couldn't answer that because that person never actually built the app. So I had to find someone on LinkedIn, and I'm still connected with that person, and I say hi to him every so often. But that person was able to give me a piece of knowledge that I needed at the time, and I just asked a question. I was like, hey, is it okay if I ask you this? I'm a young entrepreneur. I'm trying to do this. I'm looking for someone to help me, and I see that you've done it. He's okay, man. They read this. They see that you give them compliment. They see you. We see you motivated. They see you working. They'll help you. And for him, he was just answering an email, but he put the time in, and he gave me a lot more than I asked. But that was the breakthrough that I needed at the time. That was helpful. That question, I couldn't answer it on a YouTube video because it was very specific to my niche, to what I do. But he was able to do it because he had accomplished what I was trying to accomplish. So he could see it on a perspective that I didn't know to even ask. You don't know what you don't know. So you don't even know what question to ask. So he was able to give me that knowledge in a way that I can digest it, in a way that I can apply it moving forward just by with one email. Still talking. So there's a lot you can do if you're stuck somewhere. If you maybe you want to have your own investment, maybe you want to learn how to read a cash flow, not cash flow, but financial statement. But yes, guys, there's a lot you can learn. There are levels to it. So find someone closer to your level. If you don't go for the big fish first, try to go where you can. And when you get to that level, look for a higher mentor that is on the next level that you want to reach at, and do it step by step. And when you the higher level you go, the easier it gets to find. You can use your influence, what you have done, the leverage, and to get there. But the higher you rise, the higher mentor you need. And there is always a bigger level. There's always one. Sure, Michael Jordan is thinking of his next level. If he has 2 billions, well, there is 20. Right? There's difference between 2 billion and 20. I can tell you that. How is the chat doing, guys? What do you think of the stream so far? Do you got any? Is there anything that you got from this stream? Is there anything that trigger a perception that could change your perception? Did you have any takeaway from this? I'm very curious to see, guys. YouTube University, Cashflow Hunter. There you go. Great comment right there. Yes, guys. Look into the projections for YouTube in this decade. There's a reason why this year I'm taking YouTube seriously. I've been in YouTube for 2 years, trying many different things, but this year I'm really taking it seriously. But YouTube projections, you're seeing that there will there will be so many online mentorship, online courses. And that's another reason why I disagree with CoffeeZilla's philosophy about, if your online mentors, they're evil. That's where the trend is going. Everything is moving online, remote. And the pandemic accelerated this. In 2020, so many people were looking for online courses because they were sitting home, they were not doing anything, they were learning things. So many people did that. I actually did that while I was working on a company. I wanted to be better at reading financial statements. So I did two courses on that. So anything you want, there will be a course for it. And a lot of that will be YouTube. People will be using YouTube as a way, as a lead generator. They will use YouTube as a way to do marketing. YouTube is setting up themselves to be the marketing platform of the future. That's the future for YouTube. Because, and that's again, talking about mentorship, and very quick, I won't stay too long because that in itself deserves an entire podcast. But I think from the age of 19 years old until I was 20, yeah, until I was 33, I started 14 businesses. I failed in all of them until I met a mentor who was also a coach who made me realize why I was failing. And man, when I say mentors can help you save so much time, if I had this information at 19, I would save 10 years worth of pain. 10 years. The reason why I was failing in, and it's funny because in every single business that I tried, I learned something new. I learned something new until the 14th one, and I finally realized the puzzle that made everything work. I'm not saying I'm doing a good job for my company, Wealth Engineering. Honestly, I'm not pushing it that hard. Just doing it as a kind of like a passion. But if I was, the key is marketing. A business cannot survive without sales. A business cannot survive without sales, without an injection of income. However, without the marketing, there is no sales. That simple. I was purely focusing on sales, only sales, and never understood the concept of marketing, the role of marketing, how to do marketing. That unlock kind of like put the seed in my head, but I didn't really puzzle it out until I spoke with my mentor. Marketing is very important. Without marketing, there is no sales. Without sales, there is no business. So, YouTube is the perfect way to market to your audience because I guess Facebook master how to for business master how to narrow it down who you want to market to, but it works better when you build rapport with someone, and then that person, you already trust them, you already listen to them, you've basically by following their content, you're vetting them in the way you can see their growth, you can see their process, and then you do business with this person. That's what YouTube is setting up. That's what YouTubers are doing. If YouTubers wants to sell a shirt, like Mr. Beast, for example, is a big YouTuber, he wants to sell a shirt, his subscribers will buy it. It's gonna go sold out in hours. Why? Because they built the rapport. They know who he is. They know what he does. They believe in what he does. Marketing, free marketing, just a YouTube video. When we're talking about online universities, when we're talking about this, Mr. Cashflow Hunter, YouTube universities, how are you going to even learn from the courses? Which one's good? The reviews from the course, all that will be in YouTube. So YouTube is setting up themselves to be a real university where there is a lot of information, a lot of videos being uploaded every day, and how to do stuff, anything you want to know, just type in on YouTube. You'll have someone talking about it. So again, we talked about a lot of things today. We talked about a lot of things today. Thank you, Mr. J Bones. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support. Make sure you hit the like button, guys. Excellent work. Sac passé, Mr. J Bones. Yes, I'm Asian. We say sac passé to say what's up. think yeah, some people, or you can hear it on rap music sometimes. People say "sac passe." That's what it means. What's up, JC? The live was a banger. Thank you very much, Yvonne. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you guys. So, in closing, in conclusion, if you have any question before I go, let me know. Type it on those comments. But in conclusion, guys, can mentors and coaches help you reach your financial goals? Yes. However, you need to know which ones are the good ones, which one are the bad ones. Find a way that works for you on filtering them. Since sometimes you have to hit the bite. You have to be willing to risk something if you want to earn something. Sometimes you have to risk paying for a course that you're not sure about and hope that it's good. And if it's not good, you learn from it. Make a video about it so that others don't do the same mistake as you. And that's basically, sometimes there is no other way. You have to try it on your own. There is honestly one of the most expensive course I've paid up until this week because I'm about to pay for another course that is very expensive, and I'm honestly not sure, but I will cover my, CYA, cover your ass. I cover my ass. I can get my money back in 2 weeks, and I'm going to. I'm planning. I have a whole plan on things I want to check marks. I want to see to know that if this is what I wanted to do, if to see to make sure this is a good investment, and I have 2 weeks to do it. So the reason why I haven't bought it yet is the time. I'm waiting for the perfect time, which is going to be sometimes around the weekend where I can focus a lot of my energy on it. Make sure I address my question. But this course is going to be almost a little bit more than twice than the highest course I've ever paid. And so yeah, up until I guess this week, I paid for a course that I considered that was expensive. I could afford it, but didn't want to because it was very expensive. And that was one of the best course I ever had. Actually, that was the best course that I ever had. The breakthrough that I've made after this course, it was the final puzzle that I needed to master the wealth engineering principles. It was the final puzzle, and I learned it from a very expensive course. Without that course, there would be no wealth engineering. Although I had many parts there, but I needed a way to put all these parts together and with one strategy for all. And that course gave it to me. And I didn't know I was gonna get that answer on the course, but something I learned in this course trigger my imagination because I'm already thinking about it, but I don't know the solution. So whenever you hear it from someone else, they're explaining something randomly that has nothing to do with what you want to do, but they say something that triggers you, and it triggers you, and it's a breakthrough to where you're stuck, and it brings you to the next level. That's why I'm grateful for courses online, although that I've paid for some courses that I would say are not worth it. But regardless if they're not worth it, I always found a way to learn at least one thing in that course that I could apply it in my life. I could apply it in my career, in my investments. So yes, that's in a conclusion, guys. That's what it is, guys. There are great mentors out there. There are great coaches out there, but be careful. And sometimes you may not have any choice. Sometimes you may have to try it and see for yourself. And if you do so, please share your experience with others. If it's a bad one, make sure that other people can't find it. And hopefully, you can read a review from someone to avoid doing that. Just like CoffeeZilla did for me. That interview that he did, where someone says they lost $25,000, helped me save $10,000 because I was about to pay 2,500 for the course. He raised the price. I didn't want to pay it. It was really out of my comfort zone, but I was considering it very much. And that video came out the same week. And at that moment, I said no, because it's not even about the price anymore. It was about the value, the mindset that I saw and I was very against what I knew Dan Lok to be. So I'm like, I'm out. I don't want to be part of it anymore. You've lost the trust that I had for him in the last that I hold for him in 4 years. He lost it with in one interview. Someone did for him because if you're able to say that with him, where there is smoke, there is fire. And I can tell you this much. I can tell you he's a young guy. Dan Lok is. I think he's probably mid 30s. Um, and I think money and influence can corrupt people. If you listen to the Dan Lok in 2016 and 2017, and you will not believe what you hear in this interview. And he was not that man at that time. But I think after he saw how many subscribers he's getting, how many views he's getting, and then decided to take full advantage of that. He even said once that you will never offer a course online because people that are doing that are trying to. A lot of them are trying to solve the money. So he said that he was going to just provide the information on YouTube. He said that once. There's coded videos of him saying that, and then 2 years later, he actually went and did very expensive courses that it's not really worth it. Another trick: if you do find a course that is expensive that you were wondering about it, find a way to get it for cheaper. Find a way to get it for cheaper. I learned that from Dan Luck. After that interview, I really wanted to see what was in the course anyway. I really wanted to see what was in the course anyway. I type on the comment that I'm looking to buy this course. Someone sent me a private email. They say, "Hey, I'm selling you this course for $200." I copied it. I bought it. Hey, if you're gonna sell a course for $10,000, I'm sorry, man. I bought it. But but and it was a great course. It was mostly a mindset course. However, there is something I learned about this course, which was another breakthrough in my career. The first $1 million that I negotiated in my career was 2 weeks after I listened to Dan Locke in his course, in his $10,000 course, which I paid $300 for, which I still have the videos. If you guys ever want to know, check out in my Discord, private Discord, not the public one. I'll share. If you guys want to know, I'll share it with you guys for free. But hey, I had a breakthrough. The first $1 million contract that I negotiated in my life, and I was very close of closing it, was after I listened 2 weeks after I listened to that course. And I would have never thought I was capable of doing that. I never had the confidence to even think, to even ask that. He helped me broke through all of that in his course. And I was confidently able to say $1 million to that customer and not flinch. And I was one of the, my boss couldn't believe it. My boss couldn't believe it. Anyway, all that to say, guys, there is so much you can learn online. There's so much you can learn from people in general, from mentors, um, people on LinkedIn. If you can't meet them, you can. The virtual world is the future. So, our can it's not just about financial information. Coaches and coaches and basically mentors, they can help you save a lot of time. And sometimes, if you have to learn it by yourself, it's very painful. Shout out to Cashflow Hunter, Bitcoin Futures ETF out now. The keyword here is futures, Bitcoin Futures ETF. For crypto enthusiasts like me, this is a great news. This is a great news. We're finally having basically the SEC approving, endorsing. I don't know if they're going to say endorsing, but at least approving uh, the crypto world. Futures, though, and those listening, quick game right there. For Bitcoin, it's very important to have future market. Why? Because the way future works is, let's say I was a corn farmer, right? And the bushel of corns can change in prices because of a reason. So what I want to do as a farmer, there is a certain level of cost that I need to guarantee. So if I make this, I plant my seed, I bought my seed, I planted, I wait 6 months to have my corn. And then by the time I have my corn, I'm ready to sell it to the market and the price changes, then I may be at loss. So if I knew it was going to drop, I wouldn't invest in it. I wouldn't invest this much, or I wouldn't invest, right? If I knew it was going to drop that way. So what the futures is saying, hey, as a corn producer, let's agree on a price. Whatever happens in the market, we agree that I'm going to sell it at 1 cent per bushel of corn. So we agree. I go and produce it, regardless of what happens in the market. It goes up, it goes down. We agree on this price. That's what happens. For Bitcoin, this is needed because you have Bitcoin miners, they have tools, they have the mining rigs, and now we're talking about like you need a lot big business mining to keep the mining going, and more demands, and for Bitcoin, more miners are needed, right? So the futures helps them set on a price because, as you can see, the Bitcoin can be very volatile. You can be at 60,000 and all of a sudden you're at like that 50,000 in a couple days, right? Can be very volatile. So if I'm a Bitcoin miner and I have expenses, so let's say my expenses as a Bitcoin miner is $45,000, but I'm all I'm going to make is one Bitcoin. I need to agree that that Bitcoin is going to be worth more than $45,000 in 6 months because otherwise I can't cover my expenses and I will be out of business. So what the futures helps them do is, okay, you provide me this Bitcoin. No one else is going to use this Bitcoin. I'm going to be the first user. Banks love that. Financial institution loves that. And then we're going to agree on a price, regardless of what happens in the market. Whether the market goes up or down, we agree on a price. We stay there. 6 months later, that's the price. You produce me that Bitcoin, or you produce me X amount of Bitcoins uh, on a future time. I get it. End of discussion. So futures market are very needed in the Bitcoin industry or in the cryptos industry, but specifically for Bitcoin. So that's the reason why I approve the Bitcoin ETF, because the way I see it is Bitcoin futures will always be there because the demand will just keep rising, and the demand keeps rising, more miners will be needed, and the Bitcoin prices are just too volatile. And before we get to stability, it might be another 20 years. So in the meantime, yes, Bitcoin futures, and even if the prices are stable, they want there is still volatility that can happen in any market. So future prices is a way to mitigate that, especially for the people working on the back end making it happen. All right. So shout out to you, Cash Flow Hunter, for pointing that out. If you guys want to invest in your retirement funds, for example, you can look into it. If you can't, and that's a safe way of being in cryptos. You're not too exposed in the crypto asset itself. You can apply because you can sometimes in your retirement fund you may not be able to take the money out or something, or take the money out and reinvest it somewhere else. So, but if you wanted to be exposed in crypto, now you have an ETF to do so. So I think the better ones would be a Bitcoin ETF. That's what everyone's waiting for. But at least we'll take that. We'll take the Bitcoin ETF. We'll take the Bitcoin futures ETF. We'll take it. It's better than nothing. And if they're willing to do that, that means they can consider and they're closer at getting a Bitcoin ETF. That would, if we have a Bitcoin and an Ethereum ETF, that would be great. But shout out to you. Thank you for pointing that out. If you guys are interested, look into it. If you guys want to invest in it, look into it. I don't think it's going to pay dividend. I don't know yet. I have to look into it. But if you want to be a cash flow value investor, look into dividends. But you may have a second portfolio that is focusing on growth, and being exposed to some level in cryptocurrency is a great way to cover for your future. because that's where the future is going. And now we have a TF to do so. So with that said, guys, it was a great stream. Thank you guys very much. See, a lot of you commented, showed a lot of support. Thank you for the usual suspect: Yvonne T, Lindsay, J Bones, Aaron B, Cash Flow, Hunter. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for your support. So next stream will be Friday. I'm going to try to have a guest. We're going to talk about assets and liabilities. I'm gonna try to have a guest for you guys, and I'm hoping that I can get it. But it will be a millionaire. It will be actually a millionaire coach. And today I wanted to, but we'll see. We'll see if I can get that going for you guys. But it's not confirmed yet, but it's almost confirmed, and it's looking good that it could happen. But I'll let you know either way. But Friday stream is happening regardless. We have to talk about assets and liabilities. Even if you know, you think you know about it, joining anyway. You never know. You might hear something that might trigger a spark. They might trigger your perspective. You might change your perspective, and you might see the same concept that you already knew. You might see it in a different way. So tune in, guys. And again, thank you for your time. Make sure you drop the like, and please write a comment after the stream is over. If you once the stream is over, please write a comment. Just say for the algorithm or anything you want, and that really helps the channel. It really helps. But thank you for staying with me tonight, guys. It was very fun, and we'll be on the next stream.